anyway, we have our guest on the line.
Oh!
So, today we're really happy to have with us Suzanne Mitchell. And Suzanne is one here. Let me get her on the line here.
Okay.
Yes. Hello.
Hey, Mercedes, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
You have won 2 Emmys, 2 Gracie Awards, and an Omni Internet Intermedia Award?
Oh, yeah, but awards are just awards. It's the fun of making the film.
I'm sure, yeah. Well, we had the pleasure of speaking with you last year about Running Wild, The Life of Dayton O'Hyde.
And the Wild and Scenic Film Festival,
Yes.
which is what's happening on April 20th at the Suffren Lafayette Theater.
So do tell us about that.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were there last year, weren't you,
I was
Mercedes?
there last year.
So we're doing it. It's our 3rd year in a row, and
Okay.
every year it gets better, and we get better at putting on one of these festivals. And again, it's 12 short films, and we're doing the same fun thing, but even at a higher degree this year, where we're doing a dine in the theater with all the Suffren restaurants participating.
Which was great last year.
And we have Eco Containers as one of our sponsors,
Sweet.
and they provided us with these wonderful, remember, this is an environmental film festival, so we were provided with fantastic biodegradable containers, so everybody can feel good about eating in the theater and then throwing their trash out.
And you can pre-order your dinner, I hear.
Yes, and you go to the website, suffrenfilmfest.com, and you can click on the films to see our lineup, and you can click on the restaurants that are participating, and then you can pre-order. Makes it a really great event, not only for film lovers, but also for the town.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was fabulous last year. It was great last year. Were there 12 films also last year?
Last year we had, I think, 13.
Okay.
We made it a little bit shorter because this year we're going to have some incredible auction and raffle items. I don't want to give too much away right now, but we have some pretty cool stuff. I'll give you a hint. One of the films in this year's festival is called Comes with Baggage, a short history of bicycle travel from bone shakers to bike packers. And it's a really fun film. If anybody out there loves to bike, this is a film you won't want to miss. So I give a hint to what maybe one of the raffle prizes will be with that film.
Got it.
If you love birds, and we have a lot of birders out there, especially living so close to Harriman State Park. We have something called Osprey, Marine Sentinel. I screened this film. The cinematography is just stunning, and I can't wait to see it across the big screen at the Lafayette.
There was sorry.
No, you go ahead.
There was a wonderful film also last year about birds.
Yes, The Bluebird Man.
Right.
This is a bit different.
Okay.
That was focused on a gentleman who was a conservationist and helping conserve bluebirds, and this is more about the history of the osprey and what people have done as a whole to try to conserve this species.
Uh-huh.
And then we have a great climbing film that takes place in Lebanon, of all places. Who would think to go to Lebanon to climb? But it's pretty spectacular, and it's one of those, you're at the edge of your seat. And again, I can't wait. I screen these films obviously on a computer as we program them, but when you see it on the big screen, I can only imagine what that's going to do, as well as a fabulous film about the Grand Canyon.
Wow.
And for our animal lovers, we have a fantastic film about bears. Now, bears are something we all talk about, the black bears in our area. So this is one film that if you're worried about bears or you think about, bears in our neighborhoods, come out and see this film. It'll help educate you about this particular animal.
Will it tell us what to do if we see one on
the
trail?
Yes, it will.
Really? Okay.
Yes. And we have a really stunning film and a bit scary about fires out west. And we know that there have been major fires in the past years out west that have consumed huge swaths of land.
Yes.
And it's something that we also worry about here in, living so close to Harriman State Park and other sort of forested areas, and also in homes. So we're hoping that all of our volunteer firefighters will come out and see this because it's really a wonderful film. We're trying, what we try to always do is think about our community and what speaks to the folks in our area, including a film called Won't Pipe Down. There are a lot of folks out there that are concerned about the Pilgrim Pipeline that is going to be coming through the northern part of Rockland County into Bergen County. And this is a film about folks who fought the David versus Goliath battle, and folks down in Virginia who fought a similar fight with a pipeline coming through their sort of more rural area and what they did to sort of stave that off. And then we end the festival with a very poignant film about a father and his son as they rediscover a journey that his father took down the Colorado River. This film reminds me of, so many of us are so busy when our kids are growing up that we don't get those moments to really spend time with them. And then our kids grow up and then they don't have time to spend with us. Well, that's sort of what happened in this family dynamic, and they finally came together by going to a place that the father visited back in the 70s, and it's really wonderful. You'll have a tear in your eye, I promise.
Is that the one called An Education?
No, that's The Important Places. The Education is a father and daughter, and she's much younger, and he sort of got it early on. He's like, I'm not going to wait till I'm retired and my son doesn't have time for me. I'm going to take my daughter now.
Fabulous. That's fabulous, yeah, because that definitely happens in so many families.
Exactly. So I hope everybody comes out to see it.
So tell me, if we go on April 20th, we get to see all the films?
All the films. I know everybody says, how can you do 12 films in an evening? But they're short. The longest film is 23 minutes.
Okay.
And we'll have a great intermission, so people will have a chance to go out. We wrapped up last year at about 10:30. This year, the way we're programming it, if everything goes by the clock, we should be done by 10 o'clock. So it's not an extraordinarily long night, but it's a fulfilling night. And what's great about shorts is, let's say you have kids and they have to go to school the next day and you don't want to stay out that long. We made sure some of the more sort of fun kiddie videos, and I shouldn't say kiddie because that's the wrong way to say it, but the Black Bears. Kids will love to see that. That's earlier on in the program.
So it is family friendly?
Yeah, totally family friendly.
Okay. It sounds great. Tell us how to get tickets.
Okay. SufferinFilmFest.com.
Okay.
You can go there and buy tickets. If you don't want to do it online, which some people are opposed to, we have 3 participating sponsors that you can go and purchase your tickets at their location. One is Ramsey Outdoor on Route 17 South. I think most people are familiar where that is. They can see the address on our website. Then there's Wild Birds Unlimited for those who live further into Bergen County. That's in Paramus.
On Route 17, correct?
And then closer to all of us in Ramapo, there's the Hungry Hollow Co-op, and they're selling tickets. And that's such a great, I always thought you had to be a co-op member to purchase food there, but you don't.
I know.
It's really great.
I've been there, and they have wonderful honey and stuff, too.
It's great.
Yeah.
And the Gravity Vault, for folks who really want to find out a little bit about what it means to climb a wall, the Gravity Vault on Route 17 North, they're selling tickets. So if you have kids that climb, that's a great place to go pick up some tickets.
So when you were talking about the film before, you're talking about rock climbing, correct?
Yes, rock climbing.
Okay. Wow, that sounds fabulous. I'm very excited about this. I'm really hoping that I can get there again this year.
We're doing it, and just so you know, we do this in concert with Earth Day. So Earth Day this year falls on a Friday the 22nd.
Okay.
But that also is the start of the spring break in Ramapo. So we wanted to make sure that everybody had a chance to come out and see this, and they might not, they might have been going away, let's say, on a Friday night. It's also Passover on Friday night. So we took it 2 days earlier this year and made it on the 20th.
Okay.
But it's a way to celebrate the Earth. It's a way to bring people together, and it's also a way to support 2 great not-for-profit organizations. Rosa for Rockland, which is fighting overdevelopment in Ramapo, trying to protect our environment. Obviously, the Environmental Film Festival is our message. And then there's Rivertown Film, which is based in Nyack, and I think, Mercedes, you're certainly familiar with the work that Rivertown does.
Absolutely.
And so working between both organizations, Rivertown and Rosa, folks know that when they come to buy a ticket to this festival, all of that money is going to support 2 great organizations.
It's fabulous. I'm very excited about that. Tim, did you want to ask a question?
I was just wondering if the Hungry Hollow Co-op was the one is that on Chestnut Ridge Road?
Yeah, 841 Chestnut Ridge Road.
I know where it is.
Right by the Waldorf School. Yep.
Well, that's great. I know last year I was really blown away at the films. It was just one after the other. It was fabulous.
Thank you. And we're trying to encourage people to buy tickets early because they're a few dollars less if they buy them now than if they wait till the night of the film. And the other great thing is all of the tickets come with this little stub. And if you go to these locations and pick up the physical ticket ahead of time, you'll write down your name and your email address, and you'll stick it in a bucket, and we'll be pulling names from that bucket and giving out some really fabulous prizes.
Yeah, there was some good prizes last year.
And they're even better this year. I promise.
Cool. I know it says here that it's $18 in advance and $20 at the door?
Correct.
Okay.
And certain groups and people who are listening to the show right now might be members of certain not-for-profit partner organizations like Rivertown and the Hackensack Riverkeeper and Space, and there's a whole bunch of organizations, if you look at our website, that are participating. And they sent out emails to folks and gave out special codes that actually even give a further reduced price on these tickets.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit more about Rosa?
Sure. Rosa was formed back in 2010 to fight the overdevelopment that was at that time being proposed for the Patrick Farm and now is in the planning stage. And we have been actively fighting to protect this 200-acre parcel of land that sits on top of a sole source aquifer. That means that's the body of water under the ground that feeds all of us our clean drinking water, whether you're on a well or you get United Water. And we're fighting to protect that piece of property. You know, many years ago, they wanted to put a golf course on that property when it was owned by the town of Clarkstown, and Ramapo at the time said, hey, we don't want to do that. We're worried about the pesticides and we're worried about the water that's underneath that property, so we can't do that. And we still have those concerns, and we have those same concerns for a massive development that has been proposed for the property. And we're saying, hey, you have, if you're going to build it, you have to do it sustainably. You cannot just put thousands and thousands of people and cut down all the trees and create impervious surfaces on top of our water supply. And so far, knock on wood, those trees are still standing. Our advocacy is working. And, you know, we're all about sticking to the letter of the law and working within the law. So
how can people get involved with that?
Immediately get on our website, Rosa, R-O-S-A, the number 4, Rockland.org.
What does ROSA stand for?
Ramapo Organized for Sustainability and a Safe Aquifer.
Okay.
And that's why it's Rosa, because that's a mouthful.
Yeah, for sure. But it's really important.
It's super important.
To all of us, yeah.
And you know, folks can get on the Rosa website and call us. We have a phone number on that site, and, you know, ask us about the tickets, or if they have a group, if there's a special group offer we can, you know, they should definitely try to get in touch with us. We're trying to do that especially for high school teachers, science teachers, so that they can encourage their class to come out and maybe offer extra credit to the students that want to sit through the film festival and learn about what other people are doing to protect our planet.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mercedes. I look forward to seeing you all on April 20th. Doors open at 6:30, Suffern Lafayette Theater. Film program begins at 7:30. Dine in the theater, listen to the organ play from 7 to 7:30. It's going to be a great night.
Great. And I'm going to repeat all that information later on in the show, too.
Perfect.
So,
thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I had such a wonderful time last year.
Excellent.
Yeah, it was pretty spectacular. It was just one film after the next each one was better than the last.
Yeah, it sounds like they got a good lineup for this year, too.
Yeah, it sounds really good.
Yeah.
It sounds really good. So I'm definitely going.
And you get to eat in the theater?
You get to eat in the theater, which was really cool last year. Yeah, I went to, what was it called? I think it was called Mia's restaurant in Suffern, and they had last year had the biodegradable boxes, and at least for that particular place, and I had, salmon and broccoli.
And they deliver it to the theater?
Well, you bring it with you, I brought it with me last year.
Oh, so you go to the restaurant, you pick up the meal that you ordered, and you bring it to the theater.
Now, this is, they're pre-ordering your dinner this year, so I don't know how that works exactly, but but it's fun. It's fun.
Sounds like a good night out.
Sitting there eating dinner. I mean, it's,
You can't beat that.
Yeah, I mean, popcorn is all great and fine and dandy and everything, but sitting there eating a salmon steak and broccoli is pretty awesome. I think.
It
For
is.
me, that's pretty awesome.
Well, it harkens back to the old days when you had double features, cartoons, and everything else, and you were allowed to bring your lunch to the theater.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. So again, let me repeat some of the information anyway. It's the Wild and Scenic Film Festival, and you can find out about it. You can find out about it a whole bunch of ways. One of them is ROSA, ROSA 4, the number 4, rockland.org. You can also find out about it through rivertownfilm.org. You can get tickets online at brownpapertickets.com. You can pick them up at Wild Birds Unlimited in Paramus and Gravity Vault in Upper Saddle River and the Hungry Hollow Chestnut Ridge Food Co-op.
I like that food co-op.
And I do too. I
love that place.
You can also find out about it from suffernfilmfest.com. And let me give you the phone number also. It's 646-470-7672. So get out there and see these movies. They're really good. It's like, it's the kind of thing where it just reminds me of documentaries. When my kids were little, nobody wanted to watch a documentary. I mean, who really wants to sit down and watch a documentary?
Yeah.
So what I used to do is I would put it on in the TV in the kitchen. I would put it, it was a VHS tape at that point. I would pop in a VHS documentary about whatever, and they would walk in and they'd be having breakfast and stuff. The next thing you know, they were glued to the TV set to this documentary. So once you get past the stigma of it being a documentary, this stuff is great.
Well, if you grew up in the early days of TV like I did, then, they had a lot of documentaries on TV because they really didn't have a whole lot other than Liberace, to put on there.
Right.
So, you were either watching Liberace or wrestling or boxing.
Right.
Because they didn't have all the sports on. They didn't have a lot of TV shows, a few soap operas maybe.
Right.
And back then, soap operas were only about 10 minutes, 15 minutes long.
What?
That's all they were.
Are you serious?
That's it. They'd come on for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
I didn't know that.
Sure. Search for Tomorrow, The Brighter Day.
That's
My mother watched
crazy.
all these. That's how I know about them.
And they were 10 minutes long.
10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Quite.
That was it.
Honestly, if you took ones from today and cut out all the ads and cut out all the recaps and the doubling up of the storyline, you'd probably be down to 10, 15 minutes.
Exactly.